Go somewhere else. I can't take this nonsense anymore. How are you going to blame the defense?
I got the power. Screw Green Bean. Damn it.
But once you get to the sausage, I feel like we're doing something.
Go Jets.
What would you give up to see a Jets Super Bowl?
All of my friends and family.
Hit those milk thumbs, boys and girls.
Freeze run.
Hold on to your underwear, ladies, and stand by, bitches. It's now time for Talkin' Jets with your hosts, Matt, Ryan, and Green Bean.
Welcome to Talkin' Jets. My name is Ryan, and I'll be your pilot tonight. I am joined alongside my lovely co-pilots. I got Mr. Green Bean to my this way. I got Mr. Matt O'Leary to my that way. Boys, how you doing tonight? Green Bean, throw it to you first.
I'm very dark, it seems. I was comfortably sitting and hanging out in the dark. I got to do the lights, so forgive me. I'm in a good mood watching everybody change their tune on Aaron Glenn. Like maybe we just needed to not react and want to fire somebody after 3 games. I like this. It's a fun time, and I'm here for it.
I love it, Blue Bean. Matt, how you doing tonight?
Yeah, I was going to say we got the Blue Man Group with us tonight.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Doing good. You know, you're still riding the high of a Victory Tuesday. We allowed to do that? Can we have some fun? I thought it was fun on Sunday, so I'm excited to talk about it with you guys.
Boys and girls, as you hop in here, please hit that like button. It goes a long way towards telling the YouTube algorithm that this is a show worth watching. We are going to be talking all about the draft implications, what we want to do, how things have changed and shifted over the last week, what we think of the win versus the Falcons, and everything else that goes into all the discussion and talking points. And as we go throughout the night, you guys can throw your comments in the chat as well, and we'll pull those up. We do have a poll question going. Is A.D. Mitchell wide receiver 2 in 2026? I feel like that's going to be a pretty nice topic of discussion throughout the night. But let's start off with the Jets win versus the Falcons. Matt, I want to hear your thoughts. What did you think about the Jets win?
Yeah, my takeaway is special teams matters, right? Like, I think that played the biggest factor in this game, whether it was Nick Folk hitting the game-winning field goal, Austin McNamara with some of his clutch punts, the punt coverage, Quantez Stiggers just being an absolute dog as a gunner, and then you get into, you know, the returners and Isaiah Williams. Look, we all were pretty hard on them for keeping him around after a tough first game or two, and he has turned into a really nice returner and had a huge return in this game. Defense came up with big stops when they needed it most at the end of the game. They really struggled with Bijan Robinson. I wouldn't say it was the best day for the linebackers, but you know, overall, I thought offense had its moments, and I like the deep passing attack that they got in with A.D. Mitchell. I'm sure we'll get into that a lot tonight, but overall, a win against a team that they're in the same tier with, and they have 3 of those now, and we'll see if that can continue against Miami, another team that I know they have 2 more wins than the Jets, but a team that I kind of view in that same boat as the Jets.
Bean, what about you? What are your thoughts on the game?
Number one, it took me a while to learn what the word "selly" was, so I was a little embarrassed about that.
we saw 2. Saw one good one very uncomfortably odd one with a penalty attached to it.
What the hell was that?
I don't know how you like come up with that type of celebration or what it even was. Looked like a flopping fish or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's just it looked, I guess it's supposed to be a flopping fish, but it looked like seizure-y and kind of like, I don't know, it was the whole thing. And that was after he got a crown of the helmet penalty, you know, like spear targeting. So that was McCrary Ball, right? I think both were him. Yeah. So it's like this guy, he was named captain early in the season. Everybody's like, what the fuck is, and then he's injured all season. He comes back, he's in like his second week or whatever it is, and he gets 2 penalties. And you saw Aaron Glenn on the sideline kind of pointing to the top of his head, giving him the business, and then he does the flopping fish thing. So I don't know what's up with that guy. He might be one of those guys. Remember when Rex Ryan tried to put the C on Santonio Holmes's chest, and he thought that would like motivate him to.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And like sometimes a zebra just can't change his stripes. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you can try all you want, but and I don't know much about McCrary ball to be honest, but not a good start. But yeah, man. So the Selly thing, I didn't know what the hell it was. I was like, when I see Selly, I thought he was talking about like a jail cell. I didn't know what's going on. Cellmates, Sellies. That's what they are in my world. Oh, my Selly told me. Like, I shit you not, that's a real thing. So like, I didn't know what it was. But yeah, man, I think seeing 80. You know what's funny? Last week against the Ravens and the week before, like John Mechie seemed to be the guy, like out of those two wide receivers we brought in, that was kind of in the lead, if you will, for, who's going to make more of an impact and have more of a chance to stick. He had 2 weeks consecutively with a touchdown. And then you saw A.D. Mitchell just explode on the scene, and Mechie had some difficulty. But I want to point something out, and we've talked about this for different, with different players and everything many times. But it's a fantastic example of the difference. And one of the reasons I'm in on the Aaron Glenn style of things, we had 2 wide receivers during the Saleh regime that they made a mistake and they went in the doghouse, right? One was Denzel Mims and the other one was, what's his name? Malachi Corley, right? They make one mistake and then you never see them again. And it's like, and then that's the last thing that they are, this mistake, You saw John Mechie had 3 drops in this game, 3, one of which was likely a touchdown right in his hands. And what did they do? They kept him on the field. They kept throwing him the ball, and he ended the game with 2 consecutive receptions. So now those drops are just drops in the middle of a game when he had catches in the early going and catches at the end. It was just an up and down game. It's not that thing that lives all week, and then next week he's got to go in, and I got to catch this fucking pass. And it becomes this mountain that we make out of it. Aaron Glenn just said, no, man, get back out there. You know what I mean? Like, of course, shit happens. Work through it. And that's the way you coach someone. That's the way that you overcome obstacles, by getting them through it, not going, oh, well, you're clearly, shitty. Let's stick you in the doghouse for fucking 4 months and see if we can't work those mistakes out of you in practice. That kind of a thing. So it's just one of those things that, like, in real time, we were talking about it, and it was fun to see, and it was frustrating to watch, but it was interesting and a fun watch, like going through it and seeing him at the end of the game get a couple more receptions, and effectively that squashes it. And it's, again, man, like there are people who know how to coach in this league, and there are people that are fucking lost. And Robert Saleh, with all due respect, in my opinion, was lost.
Yeah, look, I really enjoyed this game. It was a fun game to watch. Obviously, nice to beat Jeff Ulbrich and get the little "haha, I gotcha" kind of moment. Matt mentioned it. Special teams really, really matters, and I know we're gonna get some people that, we're damned if we do, damned if we don't, right? Like, people were dogpiling on Aaron Glenn for losing a bunch of games. Now we're winning games, and they're dogpiling on him because it's hurting our draft position. And it's just the most absolutely bonkers ass backwards thing. And maybe it's just because we have so many fans, you're just gonna naturally have that divide, which is probably more in line with what it is. But I have no issues with these wins whatsoever. Going into this final stretch of the season, I kind of, penciled in the Falcons game and the Saints game as 2 wins. I think if the Jets keep playing like this, the Dolphins game definitely comes into play. And I would love to see us catch an upset, play a little spoiler, opportunity for the Patriots, the Bills, the Jaguars, teams like that. Now, I will say with this little asterisk, I don't mind losing the Jaguars game if it helps them knock the Colts out of the playoffs. I would be all right with that and wind up getting that higher draft pick for the sauce trade or everything. But I like this. I like the special teams aspect of it. I think we got 2 really good kick returners, one of which everyone's kicking away from and now giving it to another guy who's absolutely making them pay for it. I love this. I think it makes, special teams coaches really have to think about what their game plan is going to be. I think, even with the one missed field goal by Falk, he's been absolutely automatic the entirety of this year. Really nice to see that. The muff punt, where Stiggers recovers it on like the 3-yard line or 2-yard line or whatever it was, really, really nice to see. I thought A.D. Mitchell and Mechie, this is the reason why you play Tyrod Taylor and why Tyrod should have been the quarterback much earlier in the season. We could have started gauging these players far earlier. Now, granted, we didn't have Mechie and we didn't have AD Mitchell like earlier in the season just prior to that trade deadline. And then Tyrod was hurt. So there was kind of this, sort of clunkiness at that particular stage, but you're getting to see how an offense can actually operate now, and things when you start seeing drives progress and how Brees gets into a flow throughout the game. When you're going 3 and out constantly with Justin Fields, no one's getting in a flow. There's no quarterback getting in a flow, no wide receivers, no running backs, the blockers, no one's getting in a flow. Play caller, same sort of deal. I'm actually liking what we're seeing here, and I feel like there's enough growth that you could be optimistic. It's not like guys that aren't going to be here are really going to be the guys helping you win. Aside from the goofy pass from Tyrod where he got hit and Lazard actually caught it for a first down at the end of the game, that notwithstanding, you're winning because of Brees. You're winning because of these 2 receivers that are going to be on your team next year. The blocking in front of them is looking really good. It's just a really nice game all the way around. And I'm not, fans are going to get hung up on some of the, is this really going to build morale for next year? Is this really stacking on to next season? Well, the Jets have to learn how to win. We've done a lot of losing over the last few years. And yeah, these teams are a little bit in the weight class that we are, but we're giving some teams that are above our weight class a little bit of difficulty as well. So we played the Patriots tough. I want to see how we finish out this season, not just against the Jaguars, not just against the Miami Dolphins, but against some of the better opponents as well. And then look, we have so many draft picks. We got 3 second-round picks and 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years. Yeah. We can do whatever we want. Obviously sticking and picking and trying to get a quarterback would be really, really nice. I think we're still going to end up in that 4 to 6 range for a draft pick, so I think it's still entirely possible that does happen. But if we do like a guy enough, you can trade up if you want to, or you can wait till next year. There's just a lot of opportunities for what the Jets can do. Boys and girls, make sure you drop your comments in there. Hit that like button as we go on throughout this video. We're going to pick a qualifier for each one of our contestants. Jason Edwards, if you're in the chat right now, I totally got your email, and I definitely did not send out the pillow yet. So I will do that as soon as I hop off. As soon as I hop off the stream, I see it, and I'm like, okay, if I open the email right now, I'm going to forget about it when I get home, and I didn't forget about it. See, there it is. I just didn't do it yet.
That's a nice spin, though.
It's a little weird to say that, I guess. But Scuba Man comes in with a 20 spot. Thank you so much, dude. Says, been suckling the Talkin' Jets teat for too long without paying up. Appreciate y'all. Trying not to overreact, but I'm ready to pay Stiggers the rest of Sauce's contract to keep doing what he's doing until 2030. Scuba, that's not overreaction. We really like Stiggers. Obviously, really great in the Canadian Football League, MVP or whatever. Really showing out as a top-end special teams player in this league. I think it's great depth to have him. I don't necessarily want to see him starting at corner right now, but it feels good to know we have at least a dog on the back burners if we did need to kind of go to that. Bean, what are your thoughts on Stiggers as far as his performance has gone since he's been on the team?
Well, special teams is important. It's so funny, dude. I'm actually, if I keep it going, I'm currently in 2 separate conversations about special teams on social media. I think I'm going to let them go, let them die. But there's this funny narrative going on right now that, when we won or when we're competitive, that it took special teams to help us. And that somehow, that's not good. That's bad, I know where I get it. Well, the 1 week, remember, we talked about, you're not going to be able to count on 2 touchdowns from special teams every week, but it happens a couple times a year. You get that touchdown from special, and it's part of the game. It's actually a rather big part of the game. There's punts and kickoffs and kick and field goals and shit all game. And if you can, it's one of those condensed scenarios that if your special teams is hot garbage, the other team takes advantage of that. You're screwed. If you have no punt coverage team and they're able to get, 15, 20-yard returns every time, that is a serious detriment. And you see, we argue about it with Dom C. At least I do. Every fucking draft season, he wants to completely ignore special teams, and I'm a special teams guy. I just am. I love having guys on the roster that can give you something in their respective, for their respective position, Stiggers being a cornerback, or sometimes you see wide receivers, in a pinch, if you need them. They can play for you, but really what they do is they are exceptional at special teams. I like having a collection of those guys. Like, I'm a big fan of signing in Wangu, RB4, Isaiah Williams, wide receiver 6. You know, like I'm a big fan of those guys staying on the team and not thinking that you can replicate it by the next undrafted free agent guy coming in. Like, when you find those guys, keep those guys. Good teams know how to do that. And, you know, like, so when special teams does contribute, that's actually a testament to the team. Like, we loved Westhoff. Westhoff didn't become a legend because special teams was ignored. His units were exceptional and they were a weapon. Like, it was when you knew that at any time, whether it was a kick return, punt return, anything, you knew at any time that that shit can pop off. And when it was your turn to punt or whatever, that his teams were going to lock it down. There was very rarely that explosion play, heading toward us, like, against us. So I don't know what it is. Like, I think Jets fans, we try real hard to be miserable, man. Like, really hard. Like, we seek every possible way that we can be unhappy. Like, again, we know the tank versus the other tank, and, or the other tank versus not tanking. And we get it, and I understand it. But, like, it's weird because I think it was O'Leary's video this week. I think you might have talked about it. There's a scenario, though, developing, which is if the Jets lose, they suck and you got to fire the head coach. He's garbage. We got to start all over. But if they win, this sucks because we ruined our draft pick and it doesn't mean anything winning. Like, do you realize that you've made it so it's virtually impossible to be unhappy? And quite frankly, I don't fucking want to live there, man. I don't want to live there, dude. Like, I want one of them's going to make me happy, dude. One. If it's losing, if it's winning, I'm picking one and I'm going to smile a little bit. So when you got guys running around, like, again, on special teams, and they can help you, I think it's a big deal. And look at this kid, this Banjo kid, a Westhoff protege. We got him. He's young. He's like, he's newer in the position. He could be
He just retired from the NFL in 23. He's still fresh.
Yeah.
He was playing in the NFL in 2023.
Right. So he's like, he can be ours for the next 20 years if we're lucky, Mm-hmm. I mean, shit, we kept fucking Boyer around for 4 regimes. Why not Chris Banjo, So, yeah. But anyway, it's like, it's a good thing. And guys like Stiggers, like, when I watch him play cornerback, I don't remember I think he might have had at least one play of note, like in coverage. And forgive me, I'm not saying one side or the other, but what's standing out for a guy like him is the special teams. And I think that's vitally important. And I'm a big fan of keeping those guys around.
Not to mention, like, for all the people bitching about special teams, like, oh, we only won those games because of special teams. Were you guys fucking saying that when Xavier Gipson fumbled the ball in week 1 and we lost? Like, I'm sorry. Special teams fucking matters. It really does.
Yeah, when we lose that way,
we had a shit kicker with Vedvik and whoever else. We were looking for a fucking kicker forever. Like, special teams matters. O'Leary.
Yes.
Your thoughts on Stiggers?
Yeah, I don't know if I want to give him $30 million a year, but I like him in his role. He's going to be very cheap the next 2 years, right? This is year 2 of his rookie contract, so he will be here for sure in 26 and 2027. And we'll worry about that a couple of years from now about what a contract extension could look like. But finding a guy on day 3 who could serve a purpose for you is important, and that's exactly what Quantez Stiggers has done. He's a depth corner. He's probably their 4th corner on their depth chart, something like that, at least for the outside, right? We know he's not really a slot player. And he's turned himself into a really good gunner in this league. And like you guys have been saying, it's important. Special teams is the forgotten phase of the game. We talk so much offense and defense and leave out special teams. I want to have a high-powered offense too. I want to have a quarterback who, is throwing for a bunch of yards and a bunch of touchdowns. And maybe we'll get there one day, but it is important to have a good special teams unit. And Aaron Glenn deserves credit for the Chris Banjo hire too. Like, yeah, Banjo's done a great job, but can we not give Aaron Glenn credit for making this decision and putting him on his staff?
No, Aaron Glenn must go.
There we go.
TMK comes in with a 5 spot. Thank you so much for the super chat. It says, I was impressed that the offense answered every Atlanta score in the second half, and the D made big stops at the very end. Special teams were great. Yeah, look, I felt like the team played well outside of like everything that Robinson did. Like Robinson was just untouchable. Dude is impossible to tackle in a phone booth, and it's showing you why he is arguably the best running back in the league. He had damn near 200 yards on like, I think it was 20 touches or something like that. Like absolutely bonkers. We couldn't find a way to contain him. It highlights some of the areas that we know are sort of problems, right? Like linebacker is an area of concern in the offseason. Safety is an area of concern in the offseason. You know, as long as we are playing games and the parts of the team that I kind of expect to be problems are continuing to be problems, and the other areas are getting, you know, obviously I want to see every group get stronger, but the areas of question start getting better, like receiver number 2 and, you know, the offensive line, the interior, like how are those going to, those were like areas of like potential concern at points in the season with Myers coming in, with ABT going down, not having wide receiver 2. Like, I feel like we're in a nice spot. And there's more meat on the bone because of the quarterback, right? Like, we saw one play where Tyrod rolled out. I think it was this week, unless I'm thinking of last week, where Tyrod rolls out or gets flushed from the pocket. He goes to his left, and Mason Taylor's, like, crossing right in front of him. It's like, that ball's got to be out, like, 3 seconds ago. Like, why are you not getting that out? That's a quarterback issue. We know we're going to get a new quarterback. Hopefully something like that is rectified moving forward. But yes, very, very nice to see us respond and seeing the team fight. I don't know if you guys saw too, Breece Hall had a nice comment. I think it was in response to Aaron Glenn talking about, like, we're going to keep fighting. We know our role or our mission or what we got to do. And then Breece is like 100% or like bullseye or whatever his tweet was. It feels like Breece is buying in, and I'm starting to feel more and more confident that he feels like he's a part of this long term and that we're going to retain him at the end of the year. So that feels pretty good. But yes, TMK, very much like the special teams. Bean, you have anything to say on that?
Well, I like what you were just saying about Breece too. Like, I'm feeling that as well. And I think, you know, it sucks to hear that Braylon Allen won't be around, you know, for the rest of the season. But I'm going to tell you, I think it's a positive because we got to see Breece Hall, you know, maybe get forced into that role that we all, like, he just, well, for whatever reason, we've talked about this, there's always another guy on the team that we got to kind of work in with Breece Hall. Now, they're doing that some with Isaiah Davis, and that's fine, but it's it's at a more appropriate level than we were seeing with Braylon Allen. I mean, in the early season, I mean, how many Jets fans? There were Jets fans saying trade Breece, Braylon Allen is better. And even though I love Braylon Allen, I'm a big Braylon Allen guy, even, you know, before the draft and all that. I still don't think he's Breece Hall. Like, I love his running style. I think he's an asset. I don't think he's got the you know, the big play ability and the versatility as Breece Hall. So I think it's a good thing, just this, you know, scenario wise, that we get to see Breece, just like you're saying, kind of be utilized as that bell cow back, showing both his ability in the running game and in the passing game. And I think, you know, if he just wants to be wanted, you know, he wants to be appreciated, he wants to be used, he wants to be able to build his own career, his own, you know, put his own stamp on the league and all that stuff. And if he feels like it can't be here, then why wouldn't he go? And I feel like they're kind of showing right now that that he is important. And I think, you know, not having to fill that role next year, I think would be a really good thing, because it's not just having a talented running back. Breece is now a vet. Like, he'll be going into next year. He's going into his 5th year. There's wisdom that comes with that, man, that I think is a valued trait that we overlook a lot of the time, you know, and continuity with the offense, you know, like, and the offensive line playing together a little while. Breece has been playing with these guys now for a minute, and all that stuff matters. So I don't know. I just like that you were kind of pointing that out. I think it's important.
Gangrene in here says, guys, maybe we go linebacker with our first pick. Thoughts? I completely agree. This is a potential outcome here. Now, I do think that quarterback will still be in the forefront of most people's minds. I don't necessarily, I don't want to say I've pivoted off receiver at the top end of the first round, but I would say if Arvell Reese were to somehow make it to us at our pick, I would definitely be more than okay with it. and I'd be okay with going receiver, at the back end of the first or the second. I would say it's probably more likely that we go linebacker with our second first-round pick. I think maybe someone like, the linebacker opposite Reese in Sonny Styles.
Baby.
Yeah, I'm a big Sonny Styles fan. I think if you get either one of those guys, particularly the value one in Styles, I think would be a really nice snag at pick hopefully 18 if the Colts miss the miss the playoffs here. I don't mind going linebacker. I would say we were having discussions in our group chat the other day, and I think there's definitely a possibility we go defense with our top 2 picks before we swing back to the offense. And I'm not necessarily against it. I think there's a lot of ways to work this all out. And then also, maybe you can combine it with see who's available in free agency. Because if there's a really good linebacker in free agency that you can attract here, then it sort of changes that calculus that you're going with in the draft. But Matt, what are your thoughts on maybe going linebacker with one of our first picks?
Yeah, I was gonna say, if we're talking about the first of the 2 picks, Arvell Reese, do you really count him as a line? I know he's listed as a linebacker, but he kind of does everything, right? That's kind of like edge rusher.
Yeah, I mean, if he's going to
linebacker.
play that Micah Parsons-esque role, and you want to consider that hybrid, I would still put him in that same type of class.
Right. I don't see him as that traditional linebacker in the sense that maybe that's a dated opinion on the position and a conversation for another day. But him. Sure. I talked about the Jets draft options today in one of my videos, and that was a scenario that played out, right? If they go wide receiver or quarterback with their first pick, and then at the back end of the draft, the first round hit Sonny Styles, I would be okay with that. It really depends on what their plan is. They have so many picks in these first 2 rounds. I don't want to come on here and necessarily say it'd be a disaster if they took 2 defensive players, because who knows, maybe they take, a guard and a wide receiver in round 2. And then we're okay, you feel good. You got a linebacker, safety, whatever, edge rusher, however you want to play it out. I think my preference is to grab a wide receiver in the first round. I really like Jordan Tyson. If for whatever reason they're not going quarterback and guys get pushed down from the top 5 and he's there, I think that would be my pick. But I couldn't fault the Jets if they decide they want to take a player like Arvell Reese, who could do a lot for you, or same defense, but Caleb Downs, I know listed at safety, but another guy who plays deep in the box, can line up in the slot. That could be the Brian Branch for Aaron Glenn. So that wouldn't surprise me either. The truth is they have a ton of routes that they can go, and it's going to be a lot of fun talking about all those different ways that they could attack the NFL draft over the next few months.
Bean, what are your thoughts on going linebacker early?
I am fighting currently my default desire to want to do exactly that. If it's not quarterback right now, which, by the way, I got to look more, but I think I found my dark horse quarterback for a second, third rounder. I think I got him. But I got to do more.
Who you think? You can't just leave us on that little cliffhanger.
I'll tell you. Yeah. I don't want to fuck around. His name is, it's hard to say, and he's from UCLA, Nico Alamalama or some shit like that.
𝐼𝐿𝐴𝐿𝐴, I think is his.
Yeah, 𝐼𝐿𝐴𝐿𝐴.
So, can I tell you
6'6"?
Can I tell you one concern I have?
Go ahead.
So
yeah, sure.
He the way he left Tennessee was super shaky. I don't like the personality of Nico.
Yep, they're all doing that now. Wait till Lane Kiffin shakes up the fucking whole league this year. It's just the way it is right now. I don't give a shit. Just put him in Aaron Glenn's hands. Let Aaron Glenn shake him. Hey! Let him do a little bit of that, and he'll get straight. Let him hang out with the men. The men will straighten him out. He's a kid, he's able to do this and that. I know. I hear you. Believe me when I tell you. And I got to do more. I might turn around and not like him, but I got to tell you, 6'6", strong arm, not just a strong arm, the rocket release, the quick release is what I like. His legs, but he likes to fucking run right over people. And I like that shit. I like it. And I want, especially when you're talking about a 3rd round pick, I think 3rd round pick, put him in there. He's already an upgrade. Anyway, that's just an aside. But Linebacker, here's the thing. It is vitally important that we fight the urge as an organization. We have a defensive organization again, okay? And we have holes on defense. And when you look at A.D. Mitchell and Mechie coming in and kind of softening that need for a wide receiver, you got to be careful, man, of not just shifting and putting all your premium assets into defense, justifying it with, well, there's no quarterback, you know? If there's no quarterback and we're at like pick 5, I would love to see a little tiny trade back. Okay, get another first, right? I would, or some shit, another second. And then, you know, like if a Caleb Downs is there, or, you know, it's going to be real hard for me not to take him, but I'm hoping that the regime can take the premium wide receiver. And let's go into this year with like a bona fide, like lethal, potentially lethal offense. Brees Hall, Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis, Mason Taylor, Garrett Wilson, A.D. Mitchell, and wide receiver from the draft, you know, Mechie in the slot. And you're talking about guys that we hope would start and be great for like Arian Smith, their wide receiver 5, and then you got special teams rounding it out. Like that's what that to me is so vitally important, whoever the quarterback is. So I don't know. I'm fighting it, man. But look, either way, one of the 4 picks, I want a linebacker, and I want it to be. I'm hoping it's the second first-round pick, to be honest. Like I really want some offensive talent, premium style, but that second first-round pick or the second, being able to bring in like a mean, nasty-ass linebacker. I don't really want the pass rusher guy. I want somebody for the middle. I want somebody to own sideline to sideline, fierce presence, putting fear into running backs. I'm tired of watching teams gash us in the center of our defense. I want that shit to stop. I think the time is now.
Blitz Crew comes in, says, anything on a healthy Arian Smith scratch? Have we seen any Mazi Smith? Milk thumbs.
Milk thumbs.
Thank you, Blitz Crew. As far as Mazi Smith, he has not played well, and I would imagine he's probably not going to be on the team next year. But as far as Arian Smith, I would think maybe it was just, I don't know if we've heard anything as to why he was a healthy scratch and we wound up playing Lazard instead. But I would imagine the emergence of Mechie and A.D. Mitchell, the play style is maybe too similar to those guys and just sort of begged its, you don't want to have too many duplicates or triplicates in this particular case, especially if you're looking to run the ball. And Lazard's just a better blocker than Arian Smith. So that's kind of the only logic I have on this. Matt, any thoughts on why Arian Smith was a healthy scratch?
There's a chance he might not be good. Just tossing that out there. I think that unfortunately for him, guys like John Mechie and A.D. Mitchell have come in and been better, and you have to have Isaiah Williams active because he's your returner. And so that's Mitchell, Mechie, Williams. Tyler Johnson has shown more.
Yeah.
And I get it's really the debate of Alan Lazard or Arian Smith. And I'm not an Alan Lazard fan, although he did have a really clutch catch on that arm punt that Tyrod Taylor tossed up there. But you know, there's just a lot of guys ahead of him right now on the depth chart, and I think he's going to have a lot of work to do in the 2026 offseason to get himself in a spot to where he can make this roster, because I don't know if that spot will be guaranteed next year. I know he's the 4th round pick, and you know, guys don't like giving up on draft picks super early, but kind of goes back to what we were saying on day 3 of the draft with most of our reactions to that day outside of the Malachi Moore pick.
Being any thoughts on the healthy scratch of Arian Smith?
Yeah, I was thinking, I mean, all your points are good. Here's what I think. I think that they overdrafted him. They had hope for him, you know, that he could be a little bit quicker. You know, they realized like he's running around, he's getting open. We all saw the stat, he's getting open, but it's because they don't care about him and nobody's throwing to him. So why not fucking let him run around back there? You know, who gives a shit?
That's one way to go about it, I guess.
You know what I mean? That's what I see. And he's got a couple jobs. I think, you know, Tyler Johnson came back this week. And like you said, Alan Lazard, the blocking and everything, there's redundancy there. And I think they just saw an opportunity like, hey, he's not really ready anyway. He's probably back where he should be. You know, he's on the 53. He's just inactive. You know, they're not exposing him or anything like that, which shows that they like him. You know, they cut the other kid we like today, right? What's his name? Brandon I can't, the wide receiver, Brandon Smith. Didn't they cut him today? I think they cut him today from practice squad.
I missed that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you know, like there's a difference between being exposed on the practice squad and being on the 53 and inactive. They did the same thing with Bryce Hall. Remember Bryce Hall? He was always like the first scratch and that kind of thing. And I think, look, you know, it's just one of those things, you know, he's not really adding much. You really want to take a look at these guys. And not for nothing, Tyler Johnson has shown a little bit this year. He had that, you know, I think it was the Bengals game. He kind of stood out. And he showed, hey, man, I'd like to make a case for me to be on this team too. And, you know, right now it's audition time. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. You know, so I don't know. I wouldn't make too much about it. I think there was just an opportunity to kind of look at things the way that they were, and it worked.
Fletch comes in with a super chat. Thank you so much. No one knows which quarterback will be good, so make a list of your top 5. Draft who falls to you and use the picks to surround him with the most help possible. Yeah, and I think there's multiple ways to do it too. Like I'm not like dead set on going quarterback at say number 5 or whatever. I know you obviously said pick your top 5 quarterbacks, but I think, you know, at whichever pick provides some degree of value or maybe just a slight reach because you don't want to see your guy go. I'm fine with any one of our top 4 draft picks being a quarterback. I do think it would be nice to have someone that the team can look towards and say, okay, this guy could be the future. And then if it's say it's a second round pick, it allows you that flexibility to move off of him if it's not the right player. And maybe that guy could be a long-term backup or a trade chip in the future if you want to make the move for quarterback in 2027. So I think I've shifted a little bit more from the, okay, I want to trade up camp. I reserve that right to kind of go back to that depending on how Mendoza plays and Ty Simpson and more in the college football playoffs. How Mendoza looks against Ohio State is going to, probably if he looks really good against Ohio State, I'm going to be all about trading up to go get him. No issues there. But I think I'm a little more in line with like, okay, let's stick and pick. And if it's a top 5 guy, if you take the best player available at, let's call it 5, and then at pick 22, you're drafting your quarterback, sort of like what the Giants did with Dart. I have no issues with that whatsoever. Matt, your thoughts on the quarterback position, how guys aren't necessarily good or bad. It's all such a crapshoot. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it is a crapshoot. There's been guys who've come out that I thought were going to be good that have stunk, and there's been guys who've come out that I thought were going to be bad that's been good. And then there's been, other hits on guys who are like, oh yeah, I think that guy's going to be good, and he has been, and guys who it's like, yeah, he's not going to be any good, and he hasn't. It is a crapshoot. I think as Jet fans, we should be rooting for Dante Moore to come out of school to add that third quarterback. I think, Mendoza, and I know he's the definite that's going to come out. Simpson, I think, is coming up, but I mean, he technically could go back to school. You can't rule it out. And Moore, there's been a lot of rumblings with him going back, but his offensive coordinator is leaving, and I wonder if he's just looking at the draft and going, man, NIL money is really nice, but I'm going to go in the top 5 and make a lot of money too. So it'd be better for the Jets if 3 quarterbacks are in the top 5, because 1, you might not have to trade all the way up to number 1 to get a quarterback. And then number 2 is if you either can't trade up or don't want to, that's going to push more players down the board for you to pick at wherever they end up. They're 7th right now. So that's kind of my perspective on it right now, is just to hope that Dante Moore comes out and hope these guys play well. I think it's good if all 3 of Mendoza, Simpson, and Moore play well throughout the remainder of the college football season.
Yeah, Dante Moore's OC leaving for Kentucky was absolutely massive, because that one extra, one of the best offensive minds in the country at the collegiate level, leaving is going to put that little, do I really want to learn potentially a new offense with a new offensive coordinator, or do I want to risk injury like Drew Allar? All these different things are going to compound if you're a top 5 pick. We were looking last night, Dom and I, Cam Ward is getting $48 million fully guaranteed through the first 4 years of his contract. That's not including the 5th-year option. The highest NIL deal right now, I believe, is Arch Manning at $6 million. So there is no way you should be passing up that money to go back to school. So I agree with everything you said there, Matt. Bean, any thoughts on quarterbacks and maybe where you'd want to take one and just that thought process in general?
Well, and I think Fletch's point, while I get it, is not necessarily wise. It can be like it all depends on where you have these guys, right? But like look at these years, look at all the guys that had Josh Rosen. I mean, there were plenty of people that had Josh Rosen as QB1, right? And the Cardinals kind of took that route. Like, well, the best guy that falls to us, we're going to take him. He was gone in a year. Like, they literally moved on and fired the coach in 1 year. They were like, this guy ain't it. For whatever the reasons internally, I don't know. But like, that's the thing. It's like, you just can't, just because he's a quarterback and just because he's the best in this class, like, part of the best it doesn't mean that that's worth using that pick for and then just building around it. Because like, you look at a guy like Zach Wilson, the game was very fast for him, and you could see it evidenced by him running backwards. Like, the only space he could find to like run and think was backwards, so he took it. And it's just so clear when the game is fast for a quarterback and the game is slow for a quarterback, and that's all because of their ability to process what's happening in front of them. Like, you look at, I mean, I was talking about it last week, I think. Drake May, when we played him, you just watch. He goes back and he's as cool as a cucumber. It doesn't look fast. It's just like, okay, well, not there. Let me see over there. And it's calm because he's processing everything. He knows what the safety what the safety doing and the mic doing mean for his routes. And he's got it all. And so when you're looking at that kind of stuff, you have to make sure the system we're running, like when you evaluate quarterbacks, you'll look. Some guys are made for the West Coast offense. Some guys are going to thrive in an RPO. And if you don't have that, but you're looking at his talent and you're like, we could make him into our thing, I want to avoid that at all costs. You don't want to take somebody who all of their success is built on a specific style of play and say, I can change him into what I need to. Fuck that. And so if that's what you're doing, you know what I mean? And that's, I think, what we've done. Many times, we get him and go, oh, don't worry, we'll just put him in our system and then fire the coach and then put him in a new system. And, it's like, that's what we do to our quarterbacks. So anyway, I think if your quarterback isn't there, don't take him. Like, don't just take a guy for the sake of taking a guy. Get the wide receiver, get the linebacker, just get all the other stuff. And then you can have just as much luck taking a guy in the second round or even the third round and just see if he can work, for you, rather than using the premium asset,
So I'm going to take Fletch's comment a little bit differently, as opposed to your top 5 quarterbacks and just select the guy at your pick. I think it's more so make a list of your top 5 quarterbacks, and that might be like quarterback 2 or 3 being your second first round pick, not necessarily forcing the pick at the very top end of the draft.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's a little different. You're right.
But yeah, thank you, Fletch.
I still want to disagree with Fletch, though. Is that okay?
Totally understandable.
Oh, sure.
JV Free and Rusty Crusty Tissue, I'll get back to you in just a second. Wyatt drops
a
10
leave
spot,
JV Free's comment. Whatever he wrote, just leave him till later. He sucks.
Wyatt comes in, our boy Wyatt, says, not to derail, boys, but I am officially going to try out as a walk-on to be a quarterback for the Liberty Flames. I don't like my chances, but I'm putting my heart and soul into learning the position. Wyatt, I'm pulling for you.
Oh, hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah.
Dude, listen, let me tell you something. So Wyatt is like what? You're like 6'1", right, Wyatt? If I remember correctly.
I was going to say 6'1", 6'2".
6'2".
Yeah, he's a pretty
he's a big boy.
Good-sized dude.
When you see him on like a Zoom call, he looks like little, but he's not. It's like Jeremy.
Yeah.
Jeremy looks like all frumpy and shit, and then you meet him and he's fucking 6'3". So you're like, whoa, where did this guy come from? So, but Wyatt, Wyatt's guy, he's like, let's call him 6'2", Wyatt, he's a Marine, right? So he went through that whole thing. He just kind of, he's from Wyoming where they know how to work hard. And you know what I mean? They go out in the cold and with an
They
axe.
throw hay bales for fun, like that sort of thing.
You know what I mean? When it's cold, you go out and you get the wood. You know what I mean? You fucking chop a tree down. So he does all that. Now, I don't know if he has any experience whatsoever. The last sentence leads me to believe he might not have played quarterback before. Learning the position. But I'm going to tell you, I think he's going to make it. I am fully behind this decision, Wyatt. And if I can go and observe the tryouts, please tell me when that is. I'm an hour away. I will fucking be there, dude.
You'll have a little cheering crowd of all of us.
Oh, I'll be
tell
there.
you this: no one's going to outwork Wyatt. We can
That's
tell you
right.
that
No
much.
shot. They're going to have to
That's
drag
right.
him off that field. I love it, Wyatt. We're pulling for you. Rich Samini's Crusted Tissue comes in, says, this wide receiver group reminds me of 𝐒𝐻𝐬𝐫𝐢𝐻𝐾𝐳, short, speedy, and can run routes. I believe it's saying or bust when it comes to future QB1. I mean, I like saying just because I want to be able to use all the Super Saiyan comments and everything. Like, I'm all about the name, baby. I want it. I wanted Broadway Baker back then. Just give it to me. I don't care. And Green Bean, I think you're going to like his face, too. I think he's got a face that you could draft. I think it all.
Who is this? Saying?
Julian Saiyan from Ohio State.
Why do you like that name? Talk about it. What can you do?
Super
with it?
Saiyan, baby. I was a big Dragon Ball Z kid growing up. So, like, you ever watch
So
Dragon
what?
Ball Z?
That was a character, Super Saiyan?
Well, so like the characters, they go. So there's like a race of like I guess alien kind of like people, but they look like humans and they got like a monkey tail. And they go like Super Saiyan and their hair turns all yellow and gold or whatever, and they get like super crazy strong powers. And there's all these different levels. So there's like Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, and they like it's an anime like badass.
Okay.
sort
All
of
right. Well,
thing.
listen, I'm in
So
that.
I'm all
Listen,
about
my
it.
daughter.
If he goes Super
my
Saiyan on the
daughter's-
field, it's gonna.
Okay, so that's what
on
that. See,
board.
like, see, Matt makes fun of me, and rightfully so, for putting so much stock in their face, right? So
I love it.
Can we do
though.
the same to fucking Ryan here, please?
Yeah,
Can we
yes.
please?
Oh no,
absolutely.
If you look at a picture at Green Bean, I don't know if you are gonna like it. He looks like a lacrosse player from Massapequa. I don't really know if that's what you're.
What's his first name?
Julian?
Julian Saiyan. I'm gonna go on record and say, oh my god,
You
I
know
don't
what?
like
He
this
does
kid at
have a
all.
little bit of that, like.
He looks like the 1970s pot dealer in movies.
I
That's what he
was going to
looks
say the protagonist is about antagonist.
Yes,
antagonist.
the
In
antagonist.
like an 80s
He does
movie.
have some. Correct. He has some like 80s bully vibe.
Yes.
But that could be a good thing. Honestly, that could, you might want a bully for your quarterback.
Right? That's not necessarily bad. Right.
Not, he's
right,
pretty
so
slight.
that's
6'1", 208 is what he's listed at right now. But he's got a year
Too
to pack
small.
on a little weight.
Yeah, pack on a couple inches and pack on a couple.
Yeah, he can grow an inch and maybe put on like 15
Maybe.
pounds. That's not too bad.
6'1's right at that cusp. I like 6'2" and up, man. The 6'1", I'm not. It's not a deal breaker, but that's what I'm looking. You know what I mean?
I'm with you, Bean.
It's also
Like
pretty
tall.
easy to look elite when you have like the best wide receivers year in and year out on your roster.
That team is stacked. Just looking through all the mock drafts right now and looking how many Ohio State kids are projected in the first 2 rounds is ridiculous.
It's outrageous. They're going to have, I'd be totally fine. If we decided to take Tate at wide receiver at the top of this draft, totally on board. Either one of their linebackers, downs, like just nonstop. I think there's a D lineman that's going to go really high. Like just a freakish team. JV Free comes in and says, great show, Matt and Ryan. You guys run the best stream in Jetsland. Always entertaining and insightful. Green Bean, not so much. I like you, JV Free. You're one of the best in here.
Best commenter in the chat.
Hell
JV Free. That's what he is.
Yeah. Blitz coming in and says,
quality
if Ty
stuff.
Simpson doesn't come out, he would be a 24-year-old rookie. I think he will come out quarterback and linebacker in that order in the first round, wide receiver and safety in the second round. I would have no issues with this whatsoever if we decide to go that route. I think when I'm looking at all our positions across the board, I might throw in interior offensive linemen in place of safety, but I think safety is definitely a big need. I think how we approach free agency and where like kind of the money is allocated will sort of dictate some of those maybe second round positions. I do think wide receiver and quarterback are a lock to be draft picks as opposed to linebacker and safety. I think I could see situations where they decide to go out in free agency and bring in veteran players if you think you can attract them with the little bit of a war chest of money that you got. Bean, your thoughts on the particular, or I don't want to say order, but like those top 4 positions that Blitzcrew's talking about: quarterback, linebacker, wide receiver, safety.
I mean, I'm right there. You know, I really am. I think it's time. Like, I'm really hoping. Like, look, we need a quarterback, and I don't want to forgo the wide receiver thing because we got 2 guys. Like, I don't want to. I want to, like, you got an opportunity. Let's go badassery. You know, let's be Ohio State, for fuck's sake. Like, let's have a team that nobody can cover. You know what I mean? Like, but I really do think it's time. Like, with all due respect to the Joe Douglas focus and all that, going premium positions, we liked it. A lot of edge, a lot of wide receiver, cornerback. It's all well and good. But I think it's time to do what he didn't do, which is that focus on middle linebacker and safety. Like, we need it. Those are the tone setters for a defense. When you have a really good safety and a really good middle linebacker, it's a little less flashy unless your safety is one of the ball hawk types. It can be a little bit less flashy, but it pays dividends, man. And like having that guy again, we all got to be tired of watching, no matter how good our defense has been, even at its peak under Saleh, they want to run up the middle. They can run up the middle. And I hate that. That's like that should be the most secure area of your defense. Like, you're not running up the middle on us, man. There's no way. We got too much beefcake in here. You know, you want to come in here, you fucking pack a lunch and bring friends, bro. Like, that's the way it should be. And it's just like 6 yards, 9 yards. Like, I don't like that. It bothers me on a core level just for the game of football. Like, not here. You want to beat us to the outside if that happens sometimes, okay, but not straight up the gut. I don't like it. Which is why I'm not the biggest Harrison Phillips guy. I know everybody's kind of, like, and I don't dislike him, but I focused on him this game just to make a point. He gets moved a lot. Like, he has a real problem disengaging. Like, he's good at getting the linemen to stand up, but that disengage, he can't quite do it. And they zip right past him a lot. Like, really a lot. Briggs is better at that. And Tufele, I'm done with Tufele, but I hope he's not on the team next year. You know? He peaked in the preseason, that guy, you know?
Matt, your thoughts on the 4 positions that Blitzcrew mentioned here?
Yeah, I want to take this and kind of piggyback off of something Green Bean said. I still want to go wide receiver early, and I'm going to address the poll question. I voted no. I don't think A.D. Mitchell is wide receiver 2. He had a great game. I'm taking nothing away from him, but I think we're working off too small sample size with both guys, John Mechie and A.D. Mitchell. I think they've shown me enough to where they are going to be here next year. But I'm not, after these 3 games, going, okay, I think we have wide receiver 2 and 3 figured out, like, depth guy and Arian Smith to round out the wide receiver room. No, I think, if you are serious about building a team to have an infrastructure, to have a young quarterback succeed, either in 2026 or 2027, I think wide receiver is something they absolutely should look to attack early in this draft. I would do it in the first round. There's guys in the second round that I do like, and if they decide to go with, a guy like Arvell Reese or Caleb Downs, I'm not going to go nuts on draft night because I think they're good players and I understand that direction. But I do think it's a position that still needs to be addressed. Yes, it's clearly improved since these 2 additions, but I'm not satisfied with that positional group yet. So for me, wide receiver is still a priority going into night 1 of the draft.
So I'm going to, I don't want to say pushback because that's probably too aggressive of a term, but I would say I like the way Blitzcrew put it with wide receiver maybe in the second round, and I'm not really going to be upset either way. But I think if you go with the second round wide receiver, you could kind of target more of maybe a different type of wide receiver. Like, if you want a bigger body guy, I think like there's going to be some options that you could go with in the second round, and that I feel like taking a second round wide receiver sends a little bit different message to Mechie and to A.D. Mitchell, like, hey, we believe in you being a part of it. Like, here's the unit of guys. I feel like if you pull the trigger on one, like, let's say at the pick 6 or something, I guess we probably shouldn't think of like feelings or whatever, but I think you could, with the 3 first next year in what's supposed to be an elite wide receiver class, like even if you take a second round wide receiver this year, I think it allows you, once Mechie's contract's up, one more year left of AD Mitchell's contract, I think you could draft your rookie wide receiver in 2027 high up in the draft and not be too like it won't throw off any team building aspect, I guess.
Well, it depends on if they do quarterback this year or next year. I think that plays a big factor in that.
So would you? But with are you thinking they'll trade more picks and not have them
they might
use on a receiver? Is that what you're thinking?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm more in line with like I'm okay trading away like the 2028 first in conjunction with another 2027 for like pushing draft picks a little further out, because I feel like after this 2 year of draft, our team should really be kind of where it needs to be to go. So I guess I'm viewing. I expect us probably not to use all 3 of our first round picks next year. There's probably going to be some degree of movement that happens, but I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying there. Rich comes in, says, I'll also be at the game Saturday to watch Mendoza versus Sayin. Go Hoosiers. That's a hell of a game. That's awesome, dude. I'm jealous. Very, very jealous. I want to jump ahead to Eric dropping a 20 spot. Thank you so much, dude. Says, just your thoughts on our draft class so far. I handed out some grades. In spite of our record, the picks on D have really improved lately. Membu as a B+, Taylor an A, Thomas a C, Smith a D, Moore a C+, 𝐒𝐿𝐫𝐞𝐽 a C+, Barron incomplete. So I don't really like your rankings, I'll be honest. I'd put Membu as an A+. I think he's been an absolute rock. This past game, he had the 2 penalties, which, you can give him the knock for. Taylor, I think, is probably a B+ with the potential to really go high. I think there's a lot more that we can see from him with better quarterback play. So I think that, if you want to call him an A, I'm not going to really, push on it, but I don't think he's played to an A level right now. Thomas, I would say, is better than a C. I'm very happy with where Thomas is currently. Maybe I'd call it a B. Smith with a D, I think, is fine. Moore, I don't even know if I'd give him a C+. C is probably, right around there. 𝐒𝐿𝐫𝐞𝐽 had a nice little stretch for, 2 or 3 games.
Yeah,
C+.
2.
Yeah, C+ I'm okay with, and Barron as an incomplete is fine in my books. Matt, where would you go with the grades?
I think Membu is way too low. I think that's an A or even an A+. Mason Taylor I'd probably put as a B+ range. AZ Thomas C+, B-, in that range. Smith D-. Moore, I'm gonna say also probably around the C+. 𝐒𝐿𝐫𝐞𝐽, I'd go a little bit lower than a C+. I would say like a C or C-. And Barron, I think, also is a D-.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just from the trade up with him too, I feel like it hurts Barron more, just because we gave up extra picks to get him, and he hasn't played. Bean, your thoughts on the draft class? How would you grade them?
Yeah, I'm giving Membu a solid A. Solid, man, like without even question. I know we're B+ to A and all that, could be negligible, but I think it is a big deal. I think he's been as good as we could have hoped. Don't forget, remember in the preseason how shaky he looked and everybody getting all nervous? Remember Justin Simmons and the Giants? Remember that? Remember that shit? And he came in and he said, hey, dude, don't judge me on the preseason. I'm fucking working on something. Wait until the game 1. I'm going to flatten these dudes. Okay. And that's what he's done pretty much every week. And he'll have his ups and downs and everything. I think he's a solid A. Mason Taylor is at the behest of what the offense is doing. I think he's shown that he can do pretty much whatever we need him to do. But I'd give him a B, B+ right now at best. I think it's solid. Taylor, you mean AZ Thomas? Oh, no. Jesus.
Mason
okay,
Taylor.
Thomas. Yeah. You gave him a C. Yeah, B-, C+. I think he looks. Here's what I like about him. I think from my vantage point, you can see that he's got meat on the bone. Like you can see that if we have the staff to develop him and he's got the work ethic to do it, you see that this guy could actually be somebody. And I think having him like kind of competing for that starting job, I think is a good thing. I'd say B- right now. Arian Smith, I think, is a D. I don't want to give him an F, but D. Who's Malachi Moore? Yeah, I'd say C. C plus is good for Malachi Moore. I mean, he's been catapulted into starting, so you got to take those lumps. And let he's not a first round pick or anything. So I think he's done a good job overall. And I think I don't know if he's not good enough that I'm not drafting safeties and stuff like that.
Right.
But again, I think he can compete. Like he's earned the right to compete. And I like having him on the roster. If he doesn't like start, I like having him. So I think, yeah. And Barron, incomplete, but I think the fact that we used 2/5 on him, I think it has to be an F for this year. Now that doesn't mean that he can't turn it around, but I think Tyler Barron is a big fat F because we used 2 5th-round picks on a guy that you probably could have hung out and fucking smoked a few cigarettes and waited till the next round and got him for nothing, you know?
James Eubank comes in and says, I hope Moore comes out. I like him a lot. Going back is the mature choice, but he can tank his stock like Alar or fall because of other talent. Yeah, I agree. I think the Alar injury should be in the forefront of most of these guys that are in the top end of the draft. I don't think it makes sense to go back with the NIL money when you're projected to be even a first-round pick. I wouldn't even say like just a top 5 pick. Like you're locking in a 4 to 5 year guaranteed money contract. I agree with you, James. I think more should come out, and I hope he does. TMK says, prefer to draft quarterback and then have him sit and learn. Yeah, I think most Jet fans are going to want to have the quarterback not be jettisoned into the starting role immediately. Like, I like the idea of having Tyrod Taylor come back for a year. He knows the offense, the players on the team, and everything. I think he's been around the league a long time, so there's some wisdom that comes with that as well. So, yeah, I very much want to see a guy sit, and I know Bean and Matt, I think, are pretty good with that approach as well. Wyatt coming in. What's up, dude? Says, I have never played quarterback. I have a quarterback coach teaching me. I'll need to find one in Virginia as well. Wyatt, we're still pulling for you. It's all right.
He's got this.
You got it. I'm a fan.
How great would that be?
If he makes the team, I'll buy a Liberty Wyatt. Wyatt, I don't even know what your last name is.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'll buy a Wyatt jersey.
I'm all Liberty if Wyatt makes that team, dude. Make
yeah.
no mistake. I'll be in those stands for sure.
I love it. Benji comes in, says, Drew Alar had very good stats before the injury. Would you guys be opposed to using a second-round pick on him, high upside? I would be very against using a second-round pick on Drew Alar. I thought going into the playoffs of last year and how he performed, and then watching him this season prior to the injury, I thought he was not worthy of a higher-end draft pick. If you want to convince me maybe a 4th-round pick or a 5th-round pick, like maybe you can do that, but I actually really like Green Bean's swing at a potential mid-round guy if Nico comes out. I would much prefer to go Nico over Alar because I don't have faith in Alar. And I'd rather the upside of Nico, who very much could have been a first-round pick that has fallen out of favor, and hopefully he learns from that. And that's sort of like the block of clay you might be able to play with for a year, than taking a stab at Alar, who I don't think is very good right now. Bean, I'll throw it to you first, then we'll go to Matt.
Yeah, it's funny because I was just chatting with Tony the GM, who is Alar, fan club president. And the truth is, I have to defer. I mean, Tony is, he's dissecting the living shit out of these guys. So I got to defer. Here's the thing: I only watched limited Alar last year. I didn't love it. Okay, he looked a bit sloppy to me. But again, it's very, very small sample size. I was really looking forward to him being one of the guys that we had a full season to look at this year. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's a shame what happened to him. And Ryan, you brought it up a bunch even earlier in this stream. This is why, like, these kids, like if you're a junior and you have that 1 year to go back, and you're looked at, and your agent's saying, look, you'll probably be a top 10 pick, kind of a thing, dude, you got to go. Like a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. I know fucking school loyalty, whatever it is you want to do, you just can't play with this because careers get ended like this. And it's just such a small group of people in this world that get to do this. get to go through this whole process, work your whole life, and end up with that, first round, pick money before you even play a snap in the NFL. You're a millionaire. So it's just a shame what happened to him. That said, so to the question, second round pick, probably a bit rich for me. I'm into it. If he's sitting there in the fourth round or fifth round or something like that, and you're like, hey, dude, let's take a shot on this kid. We like him. I say, yeah, why not? Because once you're getting down there into the fifth, sixth, you're looking for. Some guys can develop, and I maintain I can find starting defensive tackles and shit in the fifth and sixth round all day, every day, but they can't. So not every NFL GM is me. All right, so
this is true.
So, but so you get a guy. You're looking at guys that some of them that they wash out quickly, or they never, they amount to special teams at best. And so take a swing. Why not? I'm a fan of it. But yeah, using a second round pick on a guy that you weren't able to watch all year and was maybe a little sloppy, I don't know. I just think it's a little bit that's a premium asset, and I'm not really into it. I think.
Matt, your thoughts on Alar in the second?
I think the second's too early for him at this point with the injury, because I think he's definitely, and all these quarterbacks are unknown, but he's definitely more of an unknown because he only played 6 games this year. If this is a day 3 conversation, that's obviously different, right? And they feel like, I don't know, what they saw at Penn State before the injury, and maybe it was circumstance, whether it's coach or the talent around them or whatever. But I think they need to use their picks, which are all going to be, in the second round. You're still looking at top 50, top 60 picks, depending on where Dallas finishes. I think you need to, if you're not going quarterback in the first round, you should be using those picks to continue to build out the roster and not take a flyer that early on a quarterback. So second round, I would pass. If they get to the 4th or 5th round, and for whatever reason, it's like, hey, he's still kicking around, maybe you could sell me on that. And that doesn't stop you from taking a quarterback in 2027 if you wanted to. But I wouldn't really be banking on Drew Aller.
Matt, from the way you were talking just now, are you if we're going to take a quarterback, it's only at the top, you don't even want to touch him, say end of the first, second, or is there guys that you might be all right with at those points?
I don't know if there's really going to be anyone there really, unless if
there's
the quarterback from 𝐒𝐿𝐫𝐞𝐞 from USC. I feel like the top 3, and that's even if more comes out, but Mendoza, Simpson, maybe more. And then who else is coming out that's going to be picked in the back of the first round and the second round? I don't know if there's an answer.
I think it's tough to know, because at this point last year, Dart was not considered a first round pick. You're talking no. You could definitely get him in the second round, might be a third round kind of guy. So I think we'll see players elevate. So it's probably a conversation to be had in a few months. But just interesting to see what the different, everyone's, I feel has such wildly different variables on the quarterback thought process. If we don't go quarterback at the top of the draft, Matt, what would your who's your starter for week 1? What in your a hopeful spot?
Tyrod, either Tyrod Taylor or a Tyrod Taylor comparison type of player. I like Jameis, but he's under contract next year, so you'd have to trade for him. You'd have to trade for Mac Jones, Gardner Minshew, Marcus Mariota, Tanner McKee. These are the bridge. I don't think there's a great bridge option that's gonna run away with it and be the next Baker Mayfield. But I think you're kind of just looking for a guy to hold it down for a year. Jacoby Brissett's another one who's under contract next year. A lot of these guys who you think of as bridge stopgap quarterbacks, I feel are under contract. So it's not an easy spot to be in for the Jets.
Ryan Zappardi says, we're going to roll into week 1 next year with Brady Cook as quarterback 1 and like it. Had to throw that up there for the conversation. I don't want to see Brady Cook on the field, which Tyrod's not going to be here probably much longer than next year. That's why I'm kind of more in line with if you want to take a stab, do like the Jimmy Clausen type approach where it's like, hey, we'll take a swing at a guy at top of the second round. You know, could be a guy that could work out for you. There's plenty of quarterbacks that have worked out back into the first, top of the second. And then if it doesn't work out, you have, like, sure, you burnt a second round pick on a guy, but then you can still make the premium investment in 2027 if there was a, you know, quarterback you loved, and you kind of get 2 swings at it. Maybe you get a long-term backup / a trade chip, recoup some of the value. That's sort of where my hope and thought is. And it also gives you a little bit of like juice for the season. Like if you got a high-end second round pick quarterback, then I think some of the guys will buy in. They're like, okay, this can be the guy for the future. If you roll it back with Tyrod and like, you know, not necessarily Gardner Minshew, but let's say it's Tyrod and like Brady Cook. I don't think anyone's feeling real good about that quarterback room. Mr. Forte says, Bean, how is Virginia's quarterback? You were at the game last week. What were your thoughts?
Oh yeah, dude. I got to run on the field, everybody.
Storm the field.
Fuck yeah, man. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, dude, let's do it. This is something. I don't even know what this is. You know, I'm running around like, what are we doing? I don't even know. It's happy. Like we're champions. I don't have any idea what this even means. You know, it was fun, man. It was great to see Virginia beat Virginia Tech. I think I told you guys, but I'll tell everybody, they've only beaten Tech once since 2003. So it's been just a shellacking forever. So UVA being 10-2, state champs, and now they're going to play Duke in the ACC championship, I think it is. So that's exciting. They beat Duke already, so it'll be good. But so to his question, Chandler Morris, he's really a fun quarterback. Like he's a lot of fun, but he's never going to be an NFL quarterback. He's 6 foot, 190 pounds. You know, not the particularly strong arm. You know, he just I really hope that he's like sucking this in, because this is probably the peak of his sporting career. Now, supposedly he's really smart offensively. Like he's one of those brainiac offensive minds. So maybe he's like an undrafted free agent, gets on somebody's practice squad for a little while, and then just kind of, you know, moves over to like a coaching kind of a thing. I could see that. But as far as him being an NFL quarterback, I'd love to wish that for him, because I do like him, and he's so fun to watch at the collegiate level. But he's, you know, again, 6 foot tall. I mean, and I think 6 foot is like generous. He's probably closer to 5'11 3/4, and he's about $190. You know, not going to make it. And he's not particularly athletic. He's just athletic enough to have fun, you know, but he's not like blowing anybody's doors off with his feet, but he does it. He's just a fun guy to watch, but he's not an NFL quarterback, sadly.
Peter comes in. What's up, Peter? Says, before the draft, we have free agency. And do we target any priority players first to fill wide receiver 2, tight end, guard, edge, linebacker, or safety, etc.? I mean, I'll keep saying it. I would love to find a way to get Linderbaum over here. If for some reason he tests free agency, I'm cool with throwing a bunch of money at him with the idea of bringing Myers back as backup. As far as like wide receiver 2, I would say no. I don't want to pay anyone wide receiver 2 money when we have so many picks. You could just draft your guy and have him cheap. Guard, I mean, I guess I'd be more in line with some of our own guys like Simpson, AVT, and even Myers to fill that kind of role. I'm open to the defense. I think edge, linebacker, and safety. I would say linebacker, safety is where I gravitate more towards, because I think you can pay a lower price to get a better player in here. And it's, you know, hopefully, you know, someone from, you know, that we have seen obviously in the NFL perform well. You know, I don't know what does a safety get right now, like a top end safety? Are they getting 20, or are they like under that? I actually don't know what the top end money is. But if you could say let's say you're paying $15 million a pop for each one of those guys, as opposed to like $30 million or $25 million for wide receiver 2, like, I like linebacker, safety, and free agency.
Man, well, Kyle Hamilton blew the safety market sky high. $25.1 million a year is the highest paid. Really Kirby Joseph 21.25, Antoine Winfield 21, Derwin James 19.
Interesting. So I'll say what I've been saying for the last few weeks. I'm cool with being in the tier 2, tier 3 free agent market. Like I don't feel like we need to like spend that degree of money on linebacker or safety with all the picks we have, because I'm more than happy with adding guys through the draft. So kind of save your money a little bit. I'd like to pay Breece, give him a 3-year contract, bring back some of your own, kind of keep the money in-house if you can. Maybe guys that Glenn has worked with in the past. I think there's a linebacker and a safety both from Detroit that could be shaken free. I would be all right with some of those guys, especially if you can get them at like a little bit of a price break. Bean, your thoughts on the free agent priority players that you may want to target?
I want Linderbaum.
Mm-hmm.
He's not coming, but I want him. He might. I mean, it's all about the quarterback, right? Like you can't quarter guy away from Lamar Jackson and go, look, dude, here's our plan. 1 more year of Tyrod Taylor, and we're but slow down, sit down. You don't have to leave. Tyrod Taylor, and we're gonna bring in Minshew, and we got Brady Cook.
Well, that's the thing. So, like, if your plan is to draft a quarterback, you can't guarantee that during free agency. So, basically, we're just saying.
But you can tell. You got to
here.
tell them the plan. They're gonna want the plan. You got to give them the plan.
We're planning to draft a quarterback real high this year. We got you locked in.
Yeah.
Sorry, sucker. We're doing it in 27.
That's right. Fuck you. That's right. Don't tell us. We'll do what we want to do. Who do you think you are? Just sign your cut. Go to work. That's what you do. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like you said, Ryan, I think it's important to balance that, positionally where the money should go, but I don't know. I think, I don't know who's out there yet. So it's difficult for me to say. I will say this, we have a bunch of money and I'm hoping that they spend it. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like I try to think about what linebackers are going to be out there. I know Leo Chanel. Well, I was going to say that tight end is a position that you're okay paying, Ryan.
Yeah, no,
because they haven't exploded
crazy
yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although if everybody started coaching him like I would coach him, like that kid on Pittsburgh, man. Dude.
Yeah.
Like you got to have tight end meetings like this. I want you guys to remember something. You're all 6'5" and above. You're all 260 pounds and above, made of solid muscle. The guys trying to tackle you are about 190 to 215 pounds. I need you to understand that you can fucking run over them, step on their chest on the way to the end zone. And we're not stopping until you do that. You know what I mean? Like it's just, so I think if they really focused on that with tight ends, I think their value would increase because again, it's like, and I've said this many times, for me, it's my favorite position, particularly on the offense, because of that versatility. Like they can fill that wide receiver-esque role with being like, just that reliable, quarterback option. But when they got the ball in their hands, like what they can do with it, if they just know what they are, is incredible. Like when you saw a guy like Gronk, as much as I hated him, like, dude, the guy was like, you had better bring everything you have if you want me to go to the ground. Like, I'm not just falling for you. And he would carry guys, if they're just like hanging on his fucking jersey. And it's like, that's what a tight end should be. But anyway, I think right now though, their value is pretty good because it's one of those, as is like running backs, right? Like, there's only a handful of running backs that warrant that contract, right? The Saquon Barkley kind of a thing. But you can get running backs cheap. You can get tight ends kind of on the cheap and guards a little bit if they're middling, but if you want to go out and get, like, I don't know. I think it's this year, it would be a really great idea if the Jets said, okay, our line is all but built. We're going to break the bank on a guard. You know what I mean? Or a center for that matter, whatever it is. We're going to break the bank and we're going to make this line as good as we possibly can. And then you start filtering in some fourths and fifths for your developmental pipeline, for the interior and all that shit. I like Max Mitchell's turnaround. this year and the way that they've been using him just shows how piss poor the offensive staff was last year. Remember how we were all out on Max Mitchell after liking him when we drafted him, and it's like, this guy sucks. And then 1 year with a new coaching and they're like, oh yeah, Max Mitchell can play. And he can play both sides. He's a swing. So his value is real, So anyway, I don't know. It's tough because I don't really know. I'm gonna look right now and see. I'm gonna go to Spot.
So Kyle Pitts is a free agent. We just saw him this past weekend. Spot Track has his market value as a 4-year, $45 million, which works out to about $11.5 million a year. I'd be okay with that. I'm not like a big Kyle Pitts guy, so I think you probably got to take it with a grain of salt. But that's the dollar amount that I'd be okay spending a little bit of money on when we got like a $90 million, $100 million kind of war chest that we're sitting on. By the time his
Jets are
contract...
going to, I was just going to say, if the Jets are going to be a run first team, I don't think Kyle Pitts is the guy.
That's fair. I mean, then why are we drafting wide receiver early in the first round, Matt? I feel like we're trying not to necessarily only be a run first team. So let's make it that Ohio State lethalness like Green Bean was talking about.
But I'll answer that question, not to step on Matt, but I really want to answer this. So to Matt's point, when you already have, let's say, and then you draft that wide receiver, so you already have the passing game covered really well with your wide receivers, that's when you lean on tight ends. You want them to have receiving ability, but you start to lean on the tight ends being big and strong and blocking.
That was what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because Mason Taylor's his strength isn't as a blocker, and then Kyle Pitt's strength isn't as a blocker. Ruckert's a free agent, so if they want to bring him back and Beck back as tight end 3 / tight end 4 / fullback, then that changes it a little bit. But I would think that Mason Taylor is your receiving tight end, and then you kind of just load up on more guys who are more skilled as blockers.
I am not going to bat for Kyle Pitts in any capacity right now.
But he does.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, well, I wanted to push back a little bit because I like throwing a hand grenade into situations. Matt, your thoughts on? Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, but he does give you. I mean, he did not live up to his 4th overall pick pedigree,
Yeah.
But he's a good tight end. He's a good player.
I guess my other question would be do you think we are lacking to the point where we need a mainly blocking level tight end this year? Do you think our running game would either improve that much more with a blocking tight end versus, let's say you swapped Ruckert out for Pitts. I mean, obviously there's the drastic money difference, but I'm just talking about from a play style standpoint. Do you think we'd be hurt that much by not having Ruckert instead of a guy that's more of a receiving threat? That's an open question to either.
It's a shame because Ruckert was supposed to be that blocking tight end with underappreciated hands, and he hasn't really he whiffs on blocks. He's been better this year, I think.
Yes.
But overall, he's not that crushing blocker that we thought we were getting, which is disappointing. I still like him. I think he can have a spot, but I don't like. But that's why they were using Max Mitchell. Remember that? They did that in 2 games. They were heavily using Max Mitchell as the tight end.
But do you like that? Or would you prefer to not have Max Mitchell and then have that blocking tight end?
For me, I don't. I mean, I like that they were doing it as a creative solution, but no, I think the reason they're doing it is because we're deficient.
Okay.
Yeah.
Matt, I want to hear your thoughts on Peter's comment as far as free agency. What position groups would you like to see us attack?
The ones that come to mind are Tyler Linderbaum. I know we spent a lot of time on, but I would seriously consider signing a linebacker. I know we talked about drafting a linebacker, but Leo Chenal, someone said in the comments, I like him a lot. I know Alex Anzalone's a lot older than he is, but if you're looking for Like if Aaron Glenn's going to eventually want to start bringing in his guys, kind of like what Rex did with Bart Scott, that would kind of be my comparison where, yeah, he's a little bit older, but like, can he still be solid for another 2 or 3 years and, help kind of bring the defense along to a spot where they feel comfortable going forward. So I would say my top two are Linderbaum and Anzalone. I think wide receiver, most likely draft. I like Alec Pierce as a wide receiver target if they want to go that route. Like I said, I would prefer the draft route, but if they're going to pay a receiver, that's the guy that I would be targeting. And then like edge and safety, I think those would be more depth, and guard would be, I think, just choosing who you're going to retain between John Simpson and Elijah Vera-Tucker. And my choice would be John Simpson, not because I think that he's necessarily better than Elijah Vera-Tucker, but unfortunately, AVT has had 3 season-ending injuries with the Jets, and I just don't think you can go into next year banking on him being your starter.
I want to drop in Podophilus Rex. Thank you so much for the 50 spot, dude. Big Dick Super Chat says, focus on the O first. Wide receiver, Linderbaum. A guard in the mid to late. A safety that can catch would be good. Any ideas why they don't put Sherry's back at safety? Let's win out Baboonza the tank. Baboonza the tank. Screw the tank is what he wants to say. Who's Sherry's? What am I missing here?
I don't know who Sherry's is.
I have no
Sherwood?
idea who I'm trying to think of like a autocorrect.
Sherry's.
Stevens, maybe?
Stevens.
Could that be autocorrected to that?
Stevens
Sherwood?
is playing lights out.
Yeah.
You don't want to move that.
I think he
Yeah.
means Sherwood, which
Sherwood. Yeah, that makes sense. I think Matt
Sherwood
nailed
as a
it.
safety?
Yeah, Sherwood was a safety converted to
He's drafted.
linebacker.
Do you
Dude,
think
that's
you
not a
could go
bad
back
idea.
to that, like make him a strong safety and just let him like lay some
Let him
lumber?
fuck people up.
Yeah, like I don't think I want to see him in coverage much.
Well, he's bad in coverage.
Well,
And he's
yeah,
too
that's-
light for the run game, which is also an issue. But
I say do it. I like it.
Give
I
it a
like
shot.
this idea.
I like where he's going with it. I like the offense. You got to focus on the offense. Like I said this earlier in the year too. Like I don't give a shit if we give up 100 points a game. Like just make it, like invest all your assets into making sure the quarterback works out because you're going to have him for 10, 15 years. You can figure out the defense at a later point. Yeah, I like this. I like this. You guys want to add anything onto this? We kind of
Well, I like Sherwood back at safety. It's not happening, but just to talk about it with you, like I think that's a creative idea, because I think my hope, right? I don't have any proof of this, but my hope and my belief until proven otherwise is that Aaron Glenn and his defense, he's going to want to bring in, he's going to shift us away from that Robert Saleh 220-pound linebacker thing. I'm really looking for 235 to 245. Like that's the range. 240 is really what we should be shooting for our linebackers. Like if you want to have a thumper out there, somebody who's 240 pounds but can still cover the side, sideline to sideline and wreak havoc. Like if you're able to do that, that's what I'd like to see them do. And then so like what that would do is if you take a Sherwood who's 230 maybe.
I think he's less than that.
Yeah, right. He was, I think I'm being generous. I don't know. I think it's just interesting to ponder. Because then you got the guy on the
is what he's
team.
listed at.
216. Think about that.
Damn. I didn't realize he was that light.
I know. You think about a 265-pound tight end running at him. Like, get out of here. You know what I mean? Fuck yourself. That's what I'd say. Dude, if I was 265 and had like, I'm telling you, man, I just know my brain. I'd look at those guys and be like, yep, come on, let's go. Here I come. Here I come. Come and get me.
You'd play like Cam Scatterbo.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I tell you, it sucks that he got hurt, man. I was having a blast watching that guy. I was riddled with envy. Riddled with envy.
Him and Dart are very fun, but they also put themselves in harm's way.
Yeah,
They get
both
hurt
of
a
them,
lot.
dude. Both of them have cracked skulls already. You know what I mean?
Dom and I were streaming last night, and Dart got laid the fuck out on the sideline, and like the stream stopped. You're like, oh my god, we gotta watch this back.
It was a clean hit. It
was.
shoulder to shoulder. Like he's got to do a better job of like step out of bounds. You got to have some field awareness there. So yeah, again, fun players. You love players who put their body on the line, but it's, they usually don't last very long because of injuries.
Ablab, I want to jump over to you. Thank you so much for the 20 spot, dude. Ablab says, what if, so I think he's talking about, is it 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐢𝐚𝐫𝐢𝐻?
Let me see. Where is it?
Because he's talking about the USC quarterback, I think. Or _Mensah is hanging around the final second round pick. So I guess depending on where Dallas ends up picking up.
It's like Elo. How do you say his name?
Well, Nico 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐢𝐚𝐫𝐢𝐻 is the UCLA kid. I think that's going to be too early for him, but maybe his draft stock goes up. He was projected to be a high pick when he was at Tennessee. But I think he's talking about 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐢𝐚𝐫𝐢𝐻 from USC, and then Mensah, the Duke kid. I'm open to second round quarterback. Like if we do forego the quarterback in the first round, I'm totally fine on going second round quarterback and then drafting, if you need to, a quarterback in 2027 in the first round. I don't mind the Jimmy Clausen-esque route where it's you take one swing and hope it works out. Gives your guys some hope. Probably less pressure. It being a second round pick as opposed to a high end first round pick from the New York media side of things. So yeah, I'm on board if they like one of the guys. I would say don't just take one just to take one. Sort of like what Bean was saying earlier in the round. I'm cool with rounding out starting roles with all four of those picks if you don't like it.
Well, Mensah is, I don't know if you guys know this. I probably shouldn't out this yet. I don't know if you want to have a big reveal, but I'm going to do it. Mensah is Dom C's number 2 quarterback.
Mm-hmm. We were talking about that.
Ooh.
He's a big fan.
Sneaky. Imagine you do that. You just kind of, you do your thing. You get like Caleb Downs and fucking Brazel, the wide receiver Brazel, and then you get Caleb Downs in the first round, and then you're just hanging out in the second, and you just go, Mensah.
It'd be fun.
You know what I mean?
It'd be super cool.
Like, who needs a first round quarterback? We got this. We're loaded at offense. Loaded. You know what I mean?
It would be ironic if after all the swings in the first round, the Jets have taken on quarterback. If it's a day 2 or day 3 pick, that's the answer.
Oh, it would tickle me like nothing. Like nothing I've experienced.
Well, I feel like there's just so much pressure that our fan base and media puts on like these players that are drafted high end, like Sam and Zach and like even Geno, I guess, because of like the optics of him being projected as the top quarterback that year. And then EJ Manuel went ahead of him. Like Mensah's kind of out of the blue for a lot of people. Like no one's really paying attention to him the way Dom is. And the way Dom would be in heaven if we got Mensah and then A.D. Mitchell starts going off. Like Dom's in scouting heaven.
Oh, yeah.
Now.
I hope that happens for him.
It would be great.
Yep. And he would rightfully so be bringing out all of his old draft eval sheets. Like, just so you know.
As he should.
He should.
That's right.
Take a victory lap,
Who was right?
That's
right. Victory lap. We'll all be waving flags with Dom C's face on it as he takes his victory lap.
Hey, speak of the devil.
Yeah, Dom throws in a 10 spot, says there's a world where Pitts and Mason Taylor coexist. Pitts is much more dynamic. Taylor is much more reliable underneath. Add a shit-kicking blocker a la Jackson Hawes, and we are gold. Dom C has spoken. Could coexist. So maybe Pitts and Mason Taylor coming to a MetLife near you, potentially.
I'm still mad that Jackson Hawes is a Bill.
Yeah, it sucks. You were big on him.
So dumb.
Yeah, and you know what? He's been more of a pass catcher for Buffalo than I thought he would be. Like, I think he had a touchdown earlier in the season, but he's just a nasty motherfucker, man. Fun to watch.
Wyatt comes in, says, what's the plan for Fields? He is dead weight. He's going to be cut. He's going to be a June 1st cut this year.
Post June 1.
Yeah, I think we're going to try and save some money. Dante says, Alar in the 4th round is a good idea. Yeah, I mean, if they want to take a swing on him in the 4th round, like, okay. I would much rather it be Nico than Alar, though. I was a big Alar fan last year leading into the playoffs, and then like watching the playoffs and watching the beginning part of this year, I kind of am a little more out on. I wouldn't fault them if they did it, though. I think that's a fine time to take a swing. Wesley comes in and says, I will die on the hill of Sawyer Robertson.
Guy.
I think he's on a crap team, but it allows us to also get him cheap.
Baylor.
I'm looking him up right now because I don't know anything.
31 touchdowns this year in 12 games. I mean, he puts up numbers.
So his best games this year:
to
SMU, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, UCF, and Utah. Had a lot of stats. 60% completion percentage feels a little low. Some of his games, 49% completion percentage. That's weird. 50% this past week in Houston. 48 versus TCU. 56 versus Auburn. I'm out on this. I don't know where he gets drafted. Probably late, I would think. Sure, we need a backup. Why not? Not early, though.
He's fun. He's a gunslinger. I think gunslinger is the appropriate description for him. But to be completely transparent, I would have to do more watching before I say I'm definitively in or out on him. But from what I've seen, there's been some fun clips circulating.
Ryan comes in with the super chat, says, where do we stand at this point with Tittman? Do you think they keep him at guard or move him back to center? Let's assume it's best 5, but I don't want a repeat of AVT. Dom and I have been on the keep Tittman at guard train for a while now. I like Tittman over there. I think he's really good. I've been fine with Myers right now, but if you could find a way to get Linderbaum, all the more reason to keep Tittman at guard. The nice thing is the positional flexibility, right? So if you do want to draft a guy in, say, the second round, you could look into your offensive lineman and just go best 5 across the board, and it gives you the flexibility either way. I would lean Tittman to guard as opposed to center. Matt, where do you fall on the Tittman position?
Guard.
Guard.
I like him at right guard a lot. I think he has looked really good over the last few weeks. I like how their offensive line is situated right now, which is why I would bring back John Simpson. And then honestly, I would consider bringing back Myers relatively cheap and then drafting someone either on day 2 or day 3 early to kind of pass the torch from Myers on to the next guy. But I like the state of the Jets offensive line. I would look to retain it as much as you can. And unfortunately with AVT, like I like the player a lot. I love the pick, and when he was on the field, I think he's a good player. But unfortunately, it just got to a point where he can't stay healthy. So I don't want to take that risk. Let somebody else take that risk.
Bean will be back with us momentarily. His computer rebooted on him, so he's just working on that.
That's okay.
C. Kane says, bearded here. Oh, man, it's so weird that YouTube changed like everyone's name.
Yeah, why? I hate that.
Super frustrating trying to learn everyone back. Bearded, good to see you. Joining late, I know Burrow is the hot name, but are there any vet quarterbacks realistically you'd trade for, a la Detroit getting Goff and improving? There's not really anyone that jumps out. I would say on the off chance CJ Stroud becomes available, I'd listen and try to see like what that would cost. We just have so many high draft picks over these next few years that it'd be really nice to get our own guy as opposed to like a cast off from another team that you're hoping is going to fit over here. I'm open to the idea, but I would say I'm not overly keen on trading away like 2 or 3 high value picks to get a guy that's going to also have to be paid a lot of money too. Matt, your thoughts on trading for a quarterback?
I agree kind of with how you just laid that out. Personally don't think the Jets trade away Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams to then pivot and go for a veteran. Going for a veteran, that feels more, even if it's a younger guy, that feels more of like a win now move. I'm still a CJ Stroud believer. He hasn't nearly put up the production that we saw from him in year 1. And he was hurt at points this year, but I think he's in a tough situation, man. That offensive line absolutely stinks that he is behind. I understand he has a really good receiver, Nico Collins, and they drafted, some guys this year. But I just, for whatever reason, I don't think it's working right now in Houston. But I still like Stroud. I'm not selling my CJ Stroud stock just yet.
I think there's going to be, I think there's some opportunity that he could get moved. I think that would be, well, if Stroud did become available, what would you pencil? Like, would you give up, let's call it 3 firsts? You'd have to give up a first in each of the next 3 years. So you're still going to have 2 firsts next year. You're going to have 1 first this year. Could you pallet that, or is that too rich?
Yeah, if you spread it out that way. Yeah, I was concerned about both first this year and a first next year kind of thing, because I still think that they need to add talent to this team.
I agree.
But if you did, a first round this year, you still have the 2 first rounders next year, and then you don't have one in 2028. I think I could live with that a little bit more. I'd rather have it be 2 first round picks, but it probably would be the 3 first rounders. I don't know. It's hard to gauge the veteran quarterback market too, in these trades. But I do like Stroud. I think that's someone who, if he did go to a new spot, I think would have success depending on the landing spot. If there's a strong offensive line or strong infrastructure, which I think the Jets would have that going into next year, I think it could work.
I think that's a really easy way to sell Brees on coming back here. I think Garrett, who played with Stroud in college, Ruckert, who also played with Stroud in college, all that sort of checks out. Seems like it might make some sense.
I want to make this clear for the chat. We're not saying that this is very likely, but
yes,
if we're talking
highly likely
veteran, yeah, it's going to be CJ Stroud's quarterback in the Jets next year. But if we're going through all the veteran options, right?
Sure.
Burrow, very unrealistic. I don't think either of us are big on the Kyler Murray train. So have to think a little bit outside the box.
And Dom and I kind of went through, I think it was Burrow, Lawrence, Herbert. All these guys have no trade clauses in their contract too. So they have to want to come to the Jets, where if there was a situation where Stroud became available, I think we could be a landing spot that would make a lot of sense. But we'll see. Danger Zone says, is 90 million a war chest when you have 25 plus expiring contracts? Yes, it is. And per spot track, we're going to have $115 million in salary cap, and per over the cap, we're going to have $118 million in salary cap. So we got plenty of money to go around. As far as free agents that you may want to consider, Josh Myers, if you're an AVT fan, you can consider AVT, but I would say AVT Simpson probably. If you're a Simpson fan, you're probably going to pay a little less on that. I don't think we're bringing back Josh Reynolds. I don't think Okorafor is coming back. I don't think Tony Adams is coming back. Breece Hall, at the minimum, is a franchise tag, so you're talking $14 million. That could be your biggest contract, but hopefully you get him on a multi-year deal. Do you consider bringing back Isaiah Oliver? Michael Clemens isn't going to be here. Saunders, I don't even know who the hell that is. I'll be perfectly honest. Mikael Walker, Tyler Johnson, I'm not going to lose sleep over if we lose. Khalil Herbert, I don't really care. Max Mitchell's a restricted free agent. You bring him back for $3.4 million. I think that's,
if that even.
Well, that's the restricted free agent tender is that. I mean, maybe you can get
is it that high? Okay. I thought it was less. I didn't realize.
Yeah, the first there's first, second round tender, restricted free agent tenders. Those are much higher, but 3.4 for restricted. I'm okay with that one. Mechie's a restricted free agent. Can you tag more than one guy with a restricted free agent tender? Because then maybe you're talking about Mechie as the restricted free agent tender and then trying to re-sign Max Mitchell on a cheaper deal.
I think that would be the way you do it. I think Mechie is the one who you get the tag.
Yeah. Ruckert, I don't think would be very expensive.
No.
Tufele's gone. Andrew Beck, I'd say unlikely to come back. Stone Smart, we haven't used. Cowart, Nick Folk at 42. I'm fine with bringing him back if you want. I no issue with it, I guess. Briggs is an exclusive rights free agent that's going to cost you less than $1 million. You're bringing him back. Xavier Newman is a restricted free agent. I don't really care if you bring him back or not. Chris Boyd, I don't care. Cam Jones, I don't care. McCrary Ball, exclusive rights free agent, going to cost you $1 million if you wanted to bring him back. And then you got your special teams guy in Wangwu and Charles. I don't know what.
I don't think you'd bring Irv Charles back with how the emergence of Quantez Stiggers.
Yeah, I think Charles gone. I think in Wangwu, I don't even know what a kick returner really gets as like running back for, but I can't imagine he's going to be a lot. So like with 25 expiring contracts, like, okay, guys that are going to be on void deals, like Lazard not losing sleep over, Cisco not losing sleep over, John Simpson you're going to want to bring back, Tyrod Taylor I'd like to bring back, Quincy is more than likely gone, I would think at this point.
Yeah.
Jelani Woods is on a void deal. He'll be gone.
You got to do the Fields money.
Yeah, we're gonna reclaim. Well, because if you June 1st cut him, how does that affect stuff? You'll have more back, so you're gonna have $138 million next year if you June 1st cut him. And then now you're sitting at players under contract is 35. You're gonna have what was I saying? How many draft picks do we have? What's our pick total?
They have like 12.
It's a lot.
They have a ton of sixth round picks,
Let's
which
call
I
it
think
10.
I said this last week, but they should look to trade some of those 6th round picks for already
vets.
established players.
I
Yeah.
completely agree. I love what they did with Briggs. I love what they did with AD Mitchell and Mechie, all those guys. Love it. Keep doing that.
Brownlee, Phillips.
Yup. Just keep doing more of that. So let's say the Jets make 10 selections. That puts you at 45 without bringing any of your guys back and without bringing in any free agents. So yes, $118 million is absolutely a war chest, Dano. Get the fuck out of here.
That's it. You're out of here.
Poto Phyllis Rex comes in and says, would you trade back our 1st round pick for like a 2 and a 2027 first? Yes, I would. Next year looks like a quarterback year, and who ate the most mashed potatoes? Ooh, at the mashed potato bar? Probably myself or Bean, because Matt was rubbing elbows with everyone at the wedding. So, I'm saying at the wedding.
Well,
this could be Thanksgiving, though.
It could be.
It could. So,
But how many trips to the mashed potato bar did you make during the wedding?
I made 2.
Okay, so we're tied.
Okay.
Well, no, I might have a little bit more because
You might have had it on that the thing where they brought you more in the back area, right?
That's what I was gonna say. We went up to the room and I had 2 up there, and I had a few spoonfuls from my friend Max, my best man, got me some as I was walking around shaking hands. I had a couple spoonfuls, so I have you beat. But let's see how many Green Bean had.
Bean, how many mashed potatoes you have at the wedding?
All right. Well, here's what I did. I was being a nice guy, and I decided, okay, well, I found the mashed potato bar.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I got 4 bowls to bring to the table. And when I did that, other than my wife, everybody else kind of was doing their own thing and didn't realize. So I ate them.
Oh, hell yeah.
So Bean had the most.
That's my hero right there.
Now, as far as Thanksgiving, what was your how was your Thanksgivings, first off? And then second off, what was your favorite dish at your meal? Matt, I'll throw it to you first.
My mother-in-law made a cornbread casserole that was absolutely phenomenal. That takes it. I had, let's see, all this gluten-free, by the way, because I'm celiac. Turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, cornbread casserole, mac and cheese was my plate.
That's nice. Bean, what about you? What's your top meal
So-
from past Thanksgiving?
We were very mellow. So it was just me, my wife, my 2 kids, and we went over to a friend's house. It was just him. His wife is away. So it was just him and his 2 boys. They're like teenage boys. So it was just us. You know what I mean? Like mellow. We watched some football. But I made I do this turkey, which is now, I guess, it's becoming a thing because it's like it's fucking banging. I just figured it out. It's called a butter blanketed turkey. So butter blanket, which is really interesting. But we were running out of time and everything, so we decided to spatchcock it.
Ooh.
You know what that is,
Oh
Ryan?
yeah, we do spatchcock turkey.
Yeah,
we
now
didn't do it this
I
year,
like
but
to
we have done it.
I like to spatchcock a turkey, not only because it saves like 3 hours, right, from the cooking, but because I like to say spatchcock. And I feel like I'm getting away with something. Like, and I always watch when I go, hey, we spatchcocked it. There's always somebody that goes like, huh? And I'm like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I fucking
spatchdick. That's
spatchcocked
right.
the hell out of that thing. That's right. Oh, I spatchcocked it all morning. You know, that kind of a thing. And so anyway, but yeah, it turned it out really, really good. So we had ham, we had the spatchcock, I made something, like I put a lot of carrots and celery like in the drip pan, like so when it does, and I made something that I named for the first time this year called dripping salad.
Ooh.
And I put it all in a bowl, and it was like all, instead of like taking it out and making a gravy and all that, I just made fucking dripping salad. It was carrots, turkey, onions with some lemons, which I took out, but then, and all the drippings, and just put, dude, it was so good. Like, it was a huge bowl. It was gone. Like, it was just one of those things. I'm like, I'm doing this every time I make a chicken, I'm doing this. So anyway, I think dripping salad was my favorite. Yeah, we had stuffing and mashed potato. Well, we had I grew a whole shitload of sweet potatoes this year. So we had purple sweet potatoes. We had Japanese white, like from Okinawa, white sweet potatoes, and then obviously regular ones. So we made a whole sweet potato smorgasbord, man. We had all kinds. So that was also pretty banging. My wife made those.
We had
fresh from the green bean farm.
I don't know who made our sweet potatoes this year, but they were absolutely slamming this year. So I think that would probably be my my favorite of my Thanksgiving. Jet Engine comes in. Thank you so much for a 10-spot, dude. Says the entire linebacker corps needs to be replaced, and the line's borderline. Salah's system resulted in a defensive front that was too small to compete. Metch and Mitch are good finds, but wide receivers still needed quarterback in 2027. I'm totally fine with swapping out the linebacking core. Now, they just paid Sherwood this past offseason, so I would say it's unlikely that he isn't factored into this team, in 2026. Maybe, I don't know his contract offhand. Maybe there's an out after next year. But I would think the defensive front could certainly be tweaked a little bit. I like JJ. I like Will McDonald. Bean mentioned Phillips is probably a weaker link. I like Briggs where he's at right now. If they wanted to use a second-round pick on a defensive tackle that was kind of slipping down a little bit, I'm totally good with it. I would have no problem with that. And then, I think we're all pretty in line with the wide receiver as being still needed. Don't want to fall for the smoke and mirrors too much. What's our poll question at? I haven't actually looked at it in a while. 64% of you
we got to get a bloody knuckles too. Yo.
We got to get a bloody. Okay, so we're at the 10 o'clock hour. So Matt, I'm going to send you over to look at last week's stream. I got to rip through a few super chats. 64% of people are saying AD Mitchell is wide receiver 2 in 2026. I think I'm going to disagree. I think people are
you like him as wide receiver 1? Is that what it is?
Oh, absolutely. No, I think as who knows? Maybe you draft a wide receiver in the second round, and AD Mitchell comes into 2026 as wide receiver 2. But I don't think I'd ideally want him to be like the guy at wide receiver 2. But I think you could play opposite Garrett Wilson. I would like to get a bigger bodied guy on the other side, ideally.
Razzle, dude.
Yeah. That was a guy that in the mock draft that we were kind of sending back and forth. He's someone I took at the back end of the first. So I agree with you, Jet Engine. Blitz came in, says scouting report on Mensa sounds like what they said about Chad. I think we would take that all day. I want Myers re-signed. I don't want 2 new offensive linemen. Yeah, hey, look, you know what? I think I'm going to shift my stance and be right on the Mensa second round bandwagon, just so I can really have fun with Dom and we could all be hyped up on this because it's sneaky. It's a sneaky good. Admittedly, I got to watch more of them. But if it's Dom's second favorite guy, I trust Dom's judgment on these prospects. So I'm on board. If we're not going top end, Mensa's my guy. Blitz Crew says, if Danny Dimes doesn't re-up with the Colts, thoughts? I don't want Danny Dimes. I think he's more likely to turn into a pumpkin than anything else. And I think if the Colts did not find a way to re-sign him, that is telling enough for me, considering how he's played so far this year for them. So I would be out on Danny Dimes. Matt, your thoughts on Danny Dimes real quick?
The fall off has already begun. They're 1-3 in their last 4 games.
Damn right, gonna miss the playoffs.
Dun, 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 I love it.
Danny Nichols. Dude. Sorry.
There's nothing that gets me happier like obviously Jets winning makes me happy, but nothing gets me happier than like the team that like the darling everybody thinks is gonna, then they fall off the fucking face of the earth. I love it, man.
Especially when we
I
own
love a
two of
fall
their
from
first
grace.
round draft picks.
That's
Fucking
right, dude.
plummet to the ground.
That's right.
Jet engine.
Totally, man.
Stopping back in again, says Sherwood is from right up the road. Nice kid, mistake to extend him, and another safety is needed. Moore is okay, and I'm fine with the cornerbacks currently. Yeah, I think we're in agreement here. We had safety as a pretty highly drafted potential spot, or you know, spend in free agency, something like that. I think should be some degree of priority.
I'm not out on Sherwood. I definitely am disappointed, but here's what I think. I think we should run a real 4-3 alignment, less nickel, and I think as teams start to get bigger, like you're seeing more tight end and running back usage, and I think it's shifting that way. I'd love to have more of a 4-3. He's a really good weak side linebacker, in my opinion. He just can't be that. Like, we're asking him to be that ferocious middle linebacker guy in many respects, and I just don't think he's I just think he would be a nice, like, linebacker 3, if you want to look at it that way. You know what I mean?
Do you think that, so like, let's say, you know, we're bringing in 2 additional linebackers with our current defensive line as it's currently situated, if we switch to more of that 4-3, do you think we need maybe a bigger presence on the outside?
Yeah.
And do you think they give the 5th-year option to Will McDonald, or do you think maybe there's some consideration in, you know, either moving him?
Yeah, I don't know. I was actually thinking about McDonald earlier today, and I was thinking, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about him long term. You know, they're gonna keep working. He's clearly a talented guy. I mean, like, I don't think you could. But it's like, and that's why I don't like, what's the guy's name, the linebacker everybody's masturbating over in the draft this year?
Arvell Reese.
Yeah, it's why I'm not so, you know, I think he's more than Will McDonald, but like that type of, unless you're doing a 3-4, you know, and then you want to move these guys around and do all that kind of stuff, that can be something. But I don't know about Will McDonald. I just don't know how I feel about him. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with like the Sherwoods and Will McDonalds of the world.
Will McDonald, I'm just curious offhand. So he's 236 pounds, or they have him listed at 245 on Pro Football Reference, which is basically the same weight as Arvell Reese. Arvell Reese is 245 at 6'4".
Yeah, let's go out and get Devin Lloyd in free agency, brother.
Is he a free agent? Is that a?
Well, they might 5th-year option him. I think. I don't know. I mean,
that
he's
would
going
have
into
been last year.
Yeah, I think he's a free agent this year.
Interesting. Matt, your thoughts on what were we just talking about here?
Sherwood?
Will McDonald in general.
Oh, McDonald? Yeah, I'd give him the 5th-year option. And then I'd wait until after next year to make my decision if I'm extending him or not beyond that.
Let's see if they have projected 5th-year options. I don't know if they have. Is this the year? Yeah, Will McDonald. So he's a $15 million option, which I think is fair. I think that's fine.
You do it.
No issues there. He just gets the basic one. If for some reason, which I don't foresee happening, he made, I don't know, I guess he can't get the playing time threshold. Is that true? Probably not at this point. If he were to hit a Pro Bowl, does your 5th-year option change after you're offered it? Or does it have to be, like, let's say year 4 he makes a Pro Bowl. Does that 5th-year option jump from $15 million to $23 million?
No, I don't believe so.
So the Pro Bowl has to be in the first 3
doesn't
years.
it? Yeah, it has to. 3 years?
Year
I
4?
thought it was the 4th. Is it the
No,
first
you
3?
exercise the 5th-year option before their 4th year. So, like, in his 4th year, if he were to hit a Pro Bowl, does that jump his 5th-year option from $15 million to $23 million? I don't know the answer to that.
That sounds like a future Matt Ryan and Bean problem.
Yeah, I mean, so you definitely exercise it at $15 million, and then you know, it's a good thing at that point. Then you either have a guy that you want to keep around for $23 million, especially when guys are getting 40 some odd million for edge rushers. Jet Engine drops in again, says Willie Mack would be fine as a situational pass rusher on a team with 2 to 3 down defensive ends, he can't be on the field on first and second down. I'm going to push back a little bit. I don't think he's been that bad in the extended play time we've seen, but I do think there's upgrade potential for the early
They
parts.
definitely need another edge. I think he's probably like a 2B. So a little bit better than a 3, but not quite a 2.
Well, I'll tell you,
Well, you wanna
maybe
swap
our
out
solution
Clemens.
is right here on the roster, Matt, because he's going to be my guy for Bloody Knuckles. One Michael Clemens
Motherfucker.
had a sack
He did have a sack.
and some pressures and tackles for losses, and he was all over the joint. He was having himself a party.
I got to switch it over to here. What is our...
It was funny on this stream. Jets fans hate him even more. Like now that they all want to tank, fucking Michael Clemens is going to all of a sudden have an impact. And Tony Adams.
So
Michael Clemens and Tony Adams. Hate him.
we don't have time for a vote, so what do we think our Bloody Knuckles award winner is for this week?
Tyrod Taylor, I would say. He was fucking getting beat up. Remember that the sacks that he was avoiding and shit? He was getting beat up, and he ran that hard-ass touchdown, too.
I like Tyrod. Trying to think if there was really anybody else that stands out from a Bloody Knuckles perspective. I think Tyrod might be the guy, Bean.
Yeah, it was a rock'em sock'em game. There was 2 occasions where I worried that he was hurt. I was like, oof.
I'm going to go curveball. I'm going to say Chris Banjo. Boom. Bloody Knuckles. Get these guys playing. It's a terrible thing to do. No, I'm cool
Yeah, I
with
don't
Tyrod.
like it.
Let's go Tyrod, Bloody Knuckles. Boom, Tyrod Taylor getting the Bloody Knuckles award. All right, Bean,
Nice.
how many qualifiers do we have? And then Matt, read off whatever we got.
Well, Matt,
Let
give me yours.
me do this first,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Right.
Gangrene.
44?
Yep, Gangrene 44. Donker Sloot.
Oh, such a good name.
The best. It's like Spatchcock. He's the Spatchcock of the chat.
I'm going to donker salute you all day.
I'm going to donker sloot my turkey.
Steven Alvarez. JT 420.
I think he smokes pot.
He might.
Andrew Grzanka
Good man. I like Grzanka.
and Sing Sing.
I'll buy you a drink. All right. How many we got, Bean?
40.
All right. Chat, give us a number between 1 and 40, and I'm going to pick the 10th number that pops up 1 through 40 in the chat. 10th number, 1 through 40. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 35. Who's 35?
That is one of the Mats. It's Gangrene 44.
Gangrene 44.
There you go. So you know he's watching it later. So Gangrene 44, you're the man.
So what's funny is Gangrene 44.
Oh, he's here now.
He put his own number.
He put his own number in there. He realized he timed it. He's waiting. He's just like, all right, 1, 2, 3, boom. He knew he was somewhere in that threshold. Smart man. 34, 35. There you go.
How could he know? I didn't say it before.
Well, because if we added 5 names and he was one of the last guys to super chat, you don't mix it up as well as you probably should. I like it. Good
if
man.
there ever was a rigged, it does feel rigged. Even though it wasn't.
I mean, he was spamming the 2 numbers he thought he was. You know what? I appreciate
oh my
that.
God.
That's some skill.
I don't think we're beating the rigged allegations this week.
No, I don't think so.
It definitely feels rigged.
All right.
Stuff in the ballot.
Gangrene 44. Let's see what you get.
Fleshlight.
Oh, it's a green bean flesh. No, sorry, it's a hat. You get a green beanie. You can use it as a fleshlight if you'd like. Gangrene 44. Reach out. jetstalk247@gmail.com or talkinjetshow@gmail.com. Get your shipping information. Jason Edwards, I'll send you your pillow too. I owe you that as well. Boys and girls, it's been a lot of fun hanging out with you tonight. Let's go around our panel, give our closing thoughts. Bean, any last words?
Yeah, we're going to continue the show over at the After Hours Jets Fest. We're going to be primarily talking about spatchcocking. So come on over. The After Hours Jets Fest on Green Bean Jets Fan Channel, 1035.
I need you to ask Sexy Grok something seductive about spatchcocking. And let me
I'm
know
just going
what
to
it
say,
says.
hey, what do you know about that?
What do you know?
I'm going to say, hey, whore. What do you know about?
Like a cheap hookah. Matt,
Fun fact. I was listening to one of Green Bean's streams recently while doing the dishes, and you were talking to Sexy Grok, and Taylor from the other room was like, who is that? Who is Green Bean talking to? I was like, oh, that's Sexy Grok. And I had to explain that whole bit.
does Sexy Grok
He's
have
like, "I
a
don't like
voice,
her."
or is it just the voice you've given her in your head?
I didn't make no. It's
No,
real.
she's
Like
really
I play it. It's like she
Ah.
says crazy shit. Yeah,
That's amazing. I didn't know there was
she's nuts.
audio. I thought you were just like.
Oh, no, yeah.
You want to hear her real quick?
I
Ryan?
do.
Just
I
real
really
quick,
need
real
to.
quick. Here, let's see. Oh wait, let me.
She's a little flirt.
Ooh.
She's terrible. She really is, dude. I try to keep it on football, and she's like, all right, wait, hold on. Hey,
Let's talk football. You into the pro stuff or more of a college fan?
I listen. How you doing? What's going on?
I'm good, thanks. Just watching the game. Looks like you're a little flustered.
Why do you say I'm flustered?
Because you're stuttering, like that cute scene in When Harry Met Sally. Not that I mind,
Why don't you mind?
because I'm into you. And I like
Oh my
seeing
God.
balance. Makes me want to steady you.
Whoa.
Maybe with my hands.
Okay. Well, look, I like that. Hold that thought. I'm going to come back and hang out with you later.
I think we need to have a four-way panel
don't
with
take
like
it
a
long.
static image of Sexy Grok and just have a conversation as a segment. I feel like that would be friggin' hysterical.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean, it gets weird.
Oh, Matt, any last words for our panel tonight?
I'll be live streaming with Jeremy tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Come hang out.
Boys and girls, it's been a lot of fun hanging out with you. I look forward to my Tuesday nights every week. We'll be back here 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock talking about another Jets W. Let's make it 2 in a row, baby. This is Talkin' Jets signing off. JETS.
Just go somewhere else. I can't take this nonsense anymore. How are you going to blame the defense?
I got the power. Screw Green Bean. Damn it.
But once you get to the sausage, I feel like we're doing something.
Go Jets. Ow, my head. No, come on.
What would you give up to see a Jets Super Bowl?
All of my friends and family.
Hit those milk thumbs, boys and girls.
Freeze run.
Hold on to your underwear, ladies, and stand by, bitches. It's now time for Talkin' Jets with your hosts, Matt, Ryan, and Green Bean.
Jets!